All right, guys. So our next topic is one that I guess I can officially put my reservations aside for because I've been saying for years now, as we've been teased and said that this Flash movie was going to happen. It was announced like 6, 7 years ago at this point, pretty much as long as Black Adam was announced. I still haven't seen set photos from Black Adam. All I've seen is a picture of the clapper board thing. So it might not be happening. I still gotta see some set photos before I'm 100% in belief that this stuff's actually happening. But, theoretically speaking, the Flash movie with Ezra Miller and Andy Muschietti has officially started filming, and, Andy Muschietti himself recently put out this, little teaser announcement thing here, which showed off the new Flash logo, which you can kind of see here if you saw back at, DC Fandom, they unveiled some, like, concept art that he had been working on for it, and it kinda teased, like, the Flash getting a new suit, and it was much more reminiscent to the New 52 suit, and you can see that still right here as well. Because if you're familiar with the New 52 suit at all, I guess I could just pull it up really quick, and then actually it might be a little bit easier. New 52 Flash, it has, like, these little yellow, like, lines kinda going through it. Let me pull a good picture of it up here. Here's a good. It's tiny, but that's what she said.
Hmm.
So, like, he's got, like not even it. Damn it.
No, that's Francis Manipul from,
Yeah, that's not the right one. I saw the
I
light.
think
It was very small when I first clicked on it. Here we go. That looks more like it. Look at this. So this might be the lightning and not the suit. Damn it. This is making me how come when I wrote New 52 Flash in the Google search, it didn't just pull up the thing? No, that's it. That one's it. That's the New 52 Flash suit. That one works. Not this one, but
Yeah.
this one, that's it. It's just a weird image because the lightning's flying around through him. Because like, it's on this figure. I mean, this is I guess I can just pull this up. Like, it has the little lightning stuff. It has the yellow kinda built into the suit here. That's pretty much the thing. It was the same suit that the Flash always wore, but they just added these little yellow details through it, right? But you can see that in the concept art that Andy Muschietti released for back in when Fandom came out. It had that design to it too. It looked like the Speed Force energy was kind of making its own, I don't know, like lines on the suit, which is I think the way they're going, and like that kind of bleeds through onto this little promo thing that they had here, so you can actually like see like this is the Flash's suit itself, and these little lines are like in the same, kind of order and design as the new 52 suit was. That was kind of cool. Then the other news, though, that came after this was Michael Keaton was actually finally confirmed to be in this movie. So he came out a while back saying that he wasn't sure if he was going to be in it. He had the script for it. They wanted him in it, but he was concerned about COVID more than anything. But I guess they were able to convince him that they have the safe set and like all this stuff will be good. He's going to be in it. So that's good for anybody who was excited to see Michael Keaton's return. The only downside to this, though, if you're going to have any sort of negativity at all, is that they were moving forward with this movie without him signing on to this movie. So obviously, that kind of indicates he's going to have a very small role in the
Yeah, it's
movie.
not gonna be anything major, it sounds
Yeah.
like.
So had he like not signed on to do it, the movie would have went on. So I don't know. The only thing I really want to see of Michael Keaton coming into this is just set up Batman Beyond, dude. That's all I would like to see. Like they bring him in here and he sets up, that Terry McGinnis scene, and like that's all I want. That's all I want at all. So, but guys, let's go to John here. You hear this information? What's exciting about you with this? They're finally filming the Flash. It is officially underway. Michael Keaton's officially returned. You recently picked up the '89 Batman hot toy figure. So, what are your thoughts on this? You may have frozen as well.
Yeah,
No, you're
no.
good.
I think I'm good. I actually I'm over the moon excited to have Keaton back as Batman. I'm really curious what kind of role he is gonna play and how he's gonna play the character. I'm hoping he plays him, just kinda just try I'm hoping he's able to step back into the role the way he did, in Batman and Batman Returns. It's amazing to think it's been, by the time this movie comes out, we'll be 30 years removed from the last time he played the role. So, it doesn't seem like, well, to old heads like me, it doesn't seem like that long ago. But it's been 30 years since Michael Keaton donned the cape and cowl, and so it's exciting in that regard. I am a little concerned, like you said, that his role in the movie is so, I don't know, removable, that if he had not been able to sign on, that they would have just, abandoned that part of the movie. Um, I too, like you, have been hoping that this would set up something like a possible Batman Beyond spinoff, because I think Michael Keaton playing a retired older Bruce Wayne just lends would be perfect. I mean, the timing alone is just perfect to bring him back into the role as the older Bruce Wayne. But my bigger concern is that they will tease us with that Ezra Miller's Flash will somehow cross over into 89 Batman universe, and he'll encounter Bruce, and he'll encounter a young uh boy that Bruce is training named Terry McGinnis. But that will be all we get, and then we'll never see that actually turn into anything. Um, so I'm afraid of what they might tease us with, but never actually give us with this announcement. I'm also concerned. The other thing that I'm concerned about is when news of Michael Keaton becoming Batman first came out, there was talk that his role in the movie was more than just like a simple, like, here he's going to be in it, a pop-in role or anything. There was talk of him being like the what did they call it, like this Nick Fury, the Samuel Jackson of the DCEU. And obviously the DCEU really isn't a thing anymore, and they're kind of going off in a bunch of different directions. Um, but I'm a little concerned about that nobody really actually has good information about what's going on with them, because clearly if his role could have just been removed just because he was concerned about COVID and wasn't willing to film right now, then his role can't be big enough to be a Samuel Jackson, Nick Fury type role. It can't be big enough to be anything more than just a kind of drop-in segment in this movie. So we'll see. Maybe they had contingencies in place to um, film his role later on, or expand his role later on, um, and let him film scenes after COVID stuff settled down, but before the movie was actually finalized. I don't know. I don't know how what they're. I mean, obviously, this is something we just have to wait and see the movie. But the other thing I'll also mention is the promo image that you were talking about that was released with fandom had a Michael Keaton Batman-esque character behind Flash, and so I feel like that's a. I feel like his role should be more in it, and I hope it is. But there was also recent talk that maybe Christian Bale's coming back, and there's already been talk that Ben Affleck's coming back. So it would be absolutely insane if they get all three of those back. And of course, what would be even more insane is if somehow they got George Clooney and Val Kilmer involved. But I think at this
That'd be
point, yep,
cool.
that's the promo that we're saying. But get all the living live action Batman on screen at one time. But I don't know. I kind of that might be a wish too far at this point.
Yeah, and at that point too, I almost feel like you almost run the risk of it being like a Batman movie. That's the
Sure.
only weird thing about them, because I mean, having Michael Keaton's Batman be in there for a, like, time travel-y-esque thing makes sense, and then having Ben Affleck's in there because he was like, well, it's weird because in the Justice League, he was more of a mentor kind of figure to Barry, but in
Yeah.
the Snyder cut, he really wasn't. Like, he was just Batman and he was Flash. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, that was
And
just
he
it.
went. He went. I mean, he went and got him. But
Yeah.
yeah, Flash wasn't. Flash was doing fine on his own at that point.
Yeah, and in Justice League, they made Flash out to be someone who got his powers, like, 2 days ago.
Yeah, and he said like, I've never done battle. I've only pushed some people." And
Yeah,
like, yeah,
which
no, I know what you mean.
you brought up too a while back, which I think people forgot about. Like it's the canon in the movies actually completely discredits that because Ben Affleck's Batman was in Suicide Squad, but so was Flash capturing Boomerang.
Captain yeah.
So it's like, he obviously had been doing more than just pushing people and running away because he captured
Yeah.
Boomerang, like, he got
Yeah,
Boomerang
sure.
arrested, like, so it was like, uh, didn't really make a whole lot of
Yeah, he
sense
was
if you remember that.
established in Central City at that point, so
Yeah, he had to have been. So, Rick, what are your thoughts on this? You excited to see old, Keaton come back as Batman, or where you at with this?
Yeah. I'm not the biggest like DC fan, but I thought Michael Keaton was always like he was the original Batman, the OG to me, like as a kid. So I think it's interesting that they are bringing him back, and it'll be interesting to see in which way they do that. But as you mentioned, I don't think it's going to be anything major by any means. It just
You wanna see if they I know you're not the biggest, like, Batman fan in general, really, I guess, like, you like Batman.
he's
You
an
like
alright
Batman.
guy.
But, yeah, he's a good dude, but how familiar are you with, like, Batman Beyond? You wanna see, like, would you like to
That would
see
be
that
cool.
part set up?
I know you love Batman Beyond.
I love Batman Beyond more than most people love
I'll
Batman
put it
Beyond.
this way: when we were kids, my
It's
brother
good.
watched Batman Beyond. I would kind of tune in every now and then, and I was like, "It's pretty cool." Um, but I mean, it'd be an interesting way to set that up.
Yeah, I mean, it's like John said, it's kind of like it'd almost be a missed opportunity to not even because I totally get where like John's coming from as well, where like it would be a damn shame for them to actually like tease that and then it never happens. That's all you get. But it would also be cool for them to at least acknowledge it in some way. Like, I
yeah.
don't know. So it'd be definitely a give and take because I'd love to see it, but it would be kind of heartbreaking to have it like set up, especially so like poetically with Keaton as the old man Bruce to just then be something we never actually get to see like ever happen.
Right.
That'd be it'd be it'd be a really bad it'd be a good and bad thing at the same time. It'd be really
Sure.
bad. It'd be a difficult situation. But, elsewise, I'm still kinda more shocked that this movie is finally supposedly happening, more so than anything.
Yeah. Right.
So,
What do you think the outcome of this movie is? I mean, I I understand that they're, whatever this Justice League, Snyder's Justice League was a cul-de-sac. And apparently, you can't turn a car around in a cul-de-sac, although I'm pretty sure you can. But regardless, that like apparently that was going nowhere. But clearly, they're continuing with Ezra Miller. They're continuing with Jason Momoa. They're continuing with Gal Gadot. W- does Flashpoint just does Ezra Miller come out of the end of Flashpoint as the Flash of a New 52-esque world where, he's in a different universe than he was at the beginning of the movie, that he's altered his life in some way that has changed the universe from where he begins the movie, which is, was firmly in the Snyderverse. And now, we shoehorn in Aquaman and Wonder Woman into this new universe. Is DC really just abandoning the idea of a shared universe and Flashes? I mean, I don't have any idea what they're doing, and I get that they've fallen in love, like made $1 billion. I get DC is like Warner Brothers fell in love with the idea of one-offs that don't connect. But I think as a DC fan, as a comic fan, who at least most of us have grown up reading stories of our characters connected. Not all the time. I understand. I don't want every movie doesn't have to have this huge tie into every other movie, but the universes are shared. You do like the possibility that your heroes can show up in each other's stories occasionally. And so I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think about what they're doing or where this movie's going to end up.
that's like the $1,000,000 question because I think in some way they might just use it as a way of explaining the multiverse to, like, the general audience just so they can continue on doing their, like, disconnected movies. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna have
Yeah,
this Flash go into Keaton world at some point, so, like, that alone is gonna at least connect those 2, and, like, they might go into more stuff and who knows, but it'll be kind of like a very visually easily attainable, like, way of saying, like, "Yeah, this stuff's connected, but it's all different." You know, and it doesn't
yeah,
all have to one thing that happens here isn't going to affect something that happens there necessarily, which they kind of already do, like with Wonder Woman in a lot of ways, because Wonder Woman's never really taken place in the present day. So, like, they all and then, like, somehow in Wonder Woman 84, she learned how to fly, but never knew how to fly in the other movies that happened
Right.
after that.
Yeah.
So,
That's
like, they just kinda, like,
screwy.
retcons I feel like all they really wanna do is just make a movie and just, like, tell a good story, which is what you should do, and, like, the universe stuff should happen, like, after that stuff, but I don't really necessarily think they're gonna use it as a way to, like, 'cause some people always just thought they were gonna use Flashpoint just to essentially delete or reset the Snyderverse kinda stuff.
Mhm.
I don't think they're
Yeah.
gonna do that. I think if anything, I don't even really think they're gonna use it for, like, what I was saying before, like, they're not making this movie just so people see that a multiverse is there and they can move on, but it will inherently do that, I think. And I think that's why Walter Amada at DC Fandom was saying, like, "We're going to be leaning heavily into the multiverse now," and I think the Flash movie, just in the nature of what they're doing with it, will just be, like I said, like a very easy visual representation of what Warner Brothers actually plans on doing with their DC movies. Because like, him being able to go in and visit Michael Keaton's Batman while he's in a movie with Ben Affleck's Batman will just make it easier for people to say, "Oh, that Robert Pattinson Batman is just another Batman." Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not
See,
replacing Ben, it's just there, like
I'm afraid it's gonna be one of these deals where it's just gonna be an excuse for them to get real lazy with their writing. Like,
yeah.
I'm afraid they're gonna decide they're gonna be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, so we wanna use Gal Gadot in the next Aquaman movie, so we're gonna write her in there. Oh, but wait a minute, and then the next, Wonder Woman movie, something that happened in that movie contradicts it. So you know what we're gonna say? Multiverse." And it's just gonna be an excuse to lazily write these stories just however they I understand, I get the idea of, um just telling the best story possible and not having to necessarily keep that continuity intact. Um, but I also feel like that's that's the genre you've chosen to tell these stories in. Superheroes have a continuity to them. I think it's one of the reasons that they've endured for so long. And while we do reset that continuity from time to time, there have been big events like Crisis on Infinite Earths and Infinite Crisis and other big events and New 52, which have reset, especially with regards to DC. I also feel like those are few and far between, and for the most part, people like the idea of being able to come back and say, "Oh yeah, remember when that happened?" It's one of the things I think
Hmm.
that makes the Marvel franchise so successful is that, you know, when when Falcon gets handed that shield, there's a history there that means something. It's not just a, lazy like, oh, by the way, yeah, they were friends before. Right? We're just gonna write that in now and say they were friends before. There's a history. Those moments mean something when you've built them up over years. And really afraid of that DC has fallen in love with this idea of, no, let's just tell these one-off stories and we'll connect them if and when we choose to, how we want. And it's going to get just, I don't know, it's going to be lame, I think, unfortunately.
That's the one reason you froze, by the way. That's the one reason I don't really like the time travel multiversey stuff because it is just like it can become convoluted for one, which is why Infinite Crisis like happened and they deleted all the universes like because it was
Hmm.
just getting convoluted.
Right.
But you just run the risk of like things not making sense, but then you just have the cop out of saying, "Well, it's multiverse." Like, "Oh, that didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Oh, it's multiverse. Oh, that person died. Well, multiverse." Like, it's like it's a
Blame
different one,
multiverse. Yeah.
and that is like you run that risk doing it. So, like, I hope they stay more true to like how multiverse stuff started, which was just telling cool, new, interesting stories in other worlds, as opposed to like the moment they have any sort of like thing happen like that and they say, "Oh, well, it was multiverse stuff," that's when I'm gonna start worrying about it. You know what I
And
mean?
that's
Like,
the other part. DC hasn't proven that they can manage one universe, let
it's
alone
true.
multiple universes. I mean,
It
what
is
the
very true.
I don't know. I hope it's good. I'm excited about Keaton coming back. I'm excited about these other things, but I just the DC has done nothing, nothing to garner any faith that they have a good plan in place for what they're doing with these characters. I shouldn't say DC. Warner Brothers has not done anything. Maybe Hamada, maybe now that he's got the reins, maybe he'll be that guiding force that they need and do something good. But I don't know. I'm very apprehensive about the future of DC movies.
Yeah, I hope so, but I'm also very skeptical. Like I always say, and like I said up at the top of this, they've had this movie in the works for been like 6 some years or something. And it's the
Yeah.
same with Black Adam. It's like I still am holding out, just like, oh, I need to see set photos. I need to see more than just this announcement. Like, I mean, I don't even know if it's happening. I still don't know. Like, they're telling me it's happening, but I was told that 6, 7 years ago. So,
Yeah.
Right.
like, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe things will change. I hope things will change. I hope they've had some success since Hamada has came in. Granted, like I'm still skeptical even about that because some things were already in motion when Hamada came in, so it's hard to even say how much he really had some hands-on stuff with. But I liked everything he said at DC Fandom, and he seemed to have a real grasp on where he wanted it to go. So, like, that has me hopeful at the very least. This is definitely something that has shepherded in, like the Flash movie is definitely something that's been under Hamada because the thing has gone through so many different cycles of like who knows? There's been 6 different directors attached to this thing. It's supposed to come out like 6 years ago. So whatever this version of Flash was it definitely was ushered in by Hamada. So it might be our kind of first real clear indication of like what Hamada's like kind of view on DC is. So I'm interested in that. So, but whatever you guys think about Michael Keaton returning and this Flash movie and all that stuff, you let us know down in the comment section below.